What's up, everyone? Welcome to Rooted in Greatness, a program that is faith based and aims to normalize and celebrate mental wealth as a part of athletic development, bridging the gap between skill and readiness while providing lifelong tools for emotional regulation, leadership, and an identity development. And today, I'm your host. I'm Nour Gueblaoui, Tunisian student athlete, senior at Western Illinois, and business management major. Here we are back again. And today I have an amazing guest that I'm really happy to have with me today. Nick Stone, if you want to introduce yourself to everyone.
Hey, my name is Nick. I'm a diver at the University of Tennessee, where I major in sports management with a minor in business and leadership, going into my senior season. So I guess we're seeing the home stretch of my NCAA career, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yep, we're getting old, Nick. That's it.
Um,
This is it.
we're getting old.
How's your knees? How's your back, please? Because
I
I'm
know I'm like
struggling.
my like knee, my ankles. I'm like, God,
Oh my
no,
God,
but
that's true. But yeah,
pushing
how's
through.
Tennessee? How's everything back there? Is it good? Is it still fun for you?
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I never want to leave. I'm actually getting my master's next
Oh,
year, so I'm
okay.
staying for 2 more years. So that's nice.
Wow. No fifth year, no like
No
just staying
fifth
for
year.
masters. That's
Just
good.
just
That's good.
school.
That's good. But yeah, just so everyone know, I met Nick back in summer in May.
Mhm.
It's a double A event. If you're listening and you're a student athlete in college, please try to attend it. It's actually
Yes.
so fun. It was the career sport development in May, and it was one of the amazing things. I remember when I first met Nick, I was hoping that he's a surfer, but then I was like, okay, there's not like a surfing sport in college. And then he told me he's a diver, and I was like, yes, we're
The
close.
second
We're
best
close to
thing.
the yes, we're that's what I imagine you as. And then guys, you're gonna hear Nick, you're gonna hear his story. He actually has the story of a surfer, like the personality, the character. He's just that person. But yeah. Well, thank you again, Nick. We're really happy to have you here. And let's just dive in. Let's just have an amazing
Go
conversation.
for it.
But yeah, Nick, I'm gonna start by asking. I know like you as a diver. I know you as the cool person, the fun, always bringing all the fun and the cool stuff around. But we really want to hear who you really are. When you're not performing, away from your sport, away from all the competition and all the pressure.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Midland, Texas, which is West Texas. Not many people know about Midland. It's about like 5 hours away from Dallas, Austin, 9 hours from Houston. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Where I'm from, it's basically just oil field work,
Oof.
and there's not much. It's like flat land, very desert vibes. But we're very fortunate to have an amazing facility of like swimming and diving, which is kind of odd and weird in
Oh,
Midland.
yeah.
But growing up, I had my grandma and my dad really just like, because I'm an only child also, so I was really, really, really close with them. And basically, when I wasn't at the pool, I was either at work with them when I was younger, because obviously I didn't drive, or I just basically just like hung around. Like didn't really like when I was younger going out like with friends, going to the movies and stuff like that. I always wanted to be next to them and in their work environment, which is kind of weird as a kid also. But
Yeah.
when I was always with them, I noticed that like the hard work that they always did, and I really admired like the work that they did. So my grandma was the president of the Midland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, which if you don't know what a Chamber of Commerce is, helps people start businesses and gives them a place to kind of like work when they can't buy their own like building or buy
Yeah.
their own like station to work at. So that's what she did, and she was the president, so obviously she helped the people that were in her building, but also she ran, like, other events to try to raise money because they were nonprofits, and one of them so she did, like, a lot of event management,
Mm-hmm.
and back then, I didn't know what that was, obviously, because I was so young, but I loved what she did. I was like, I love seeing, like, her doing all the invoices of, like, getting bands or, like, vendors and all this stuff, and then seeing the whole kind of event come together into one place. And so that's kinda where I like the path guided me to event management, because right now I'm doing sports event management.
Mm-hmm.
And then after doing that for so long, I found my passion for diving when I was 8 years old. And so but then I was like, "Oh, like, I kinda wanna stay in the sports world because 'cause I'm having so much fun," and obviously, like, who doesn't love sports, you know? You can be
Yeah.
around it all you want, and so from there, I figured out that there's sports event management, so I was like, "There's 2 of my, like, passions combined," so I'm like, "Why not do it?"
Yeah.
Leading into that, I wanted to say just basically outside the pool, I love, 1, event planning, so that's why I'm doing sports event management, but also I love just, like, community work, and I feel like with event management, there's so much, like, fan engagement, ticket sales, and all this stuff that, like, kinda, like, gets you involved with everyone outside of
Yeah.
just, like, the athletes or coaches, and that's
Yeah.
what I, like, really am excited for and love is because I just love, um, helping everyone around me just come together to a specific something that brings everyone together, and like we mentioned earlier, like, we were able to go to the NCAA headquarters because sport brings
Yeah.
us together, and I feel like I learned this before, but, like, sport is a universal language, and, um, I think it's just so cool that I'm always just very fortunate and very, humbled that, like, diving gave me so many things, like, yes, I so b to your question saying Nick Stone, like, without diving, like, I don't even when I'm done graduated, I'm not gonna miss, like of course, I'm gonna miss jumping, flipping in the water, but I'm gonna miss the the constant reminder that, like, what diving was able to give me, like,
Yep.
I'm at the University of Tennessee, like, hundreds of thousands of miles away from my hometown, meeting so many unique people, and then
Yeah.
also getting so many opportunities, like, hopping on the phone with you and, like, just, like, being a SAC president or, like, all these different things, so, I feel like Nick outside of the pool is kind of Nick the same, just it's just, like, I'm not physically jumping in the water, you know?
Yeah.
It's like I just like bringing people together. I love that. Always have a passion for like what's right, saying things that are on my mind and not being afraid to say things that are
Yeah.
on my mind. Um, and just like everything under that umbrella. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about me.
That's awesome, Nick. Well, let me tell you, you're definitely doing the part of bringing people together already. Because in that trip, you were one of like the people that actually brought us all together every day, every every night, you know. And I agree so much about what you said about sports event management. Like as you saw, like for example, when I attended CCF, I knew there that sports still offers a lot after us being just like done with our sport,
Mhm,
but I don't know, it's like, kind of a riskier road to take, like
mhm,
most people just settle. I don't want to use the word settle down, but like go more in like the normal path, and then it's rare to see like us staying in sports and actually working in
mhm,
sports. And then you go to like a week like that, an event like that, and you hear about all these really cool jobs, honestly, because like working in management just in a normal business and then working in sports management is literally two complete things. You might
oh
like
yeah.
be working on the same goal, but like you get to work with these amazing athletes. It can be student athletes, it can be professionals. You get to see these amazing stadiums and amazing course. Like it's actually insane. It's like
Mhm,
I think it's so cool, and like it's great that you have that passion, and like of course like being a student athlete is gonna help you so much because you know how it should be done, and you know how it should be like, like the leaders and everything. So I really see you in that, and I'm excited to see you,
thank
one
you,
day like
Nora. Thank you.
but yeah, if your sport was taken, it was taken away from you tomorrow, Nick, what will still give your life a meaning? Talking about
Mhm,
your passions or your academic dreams, your
mhm.
family, like what is something that would really give your life a meaning?
I think if diving were just no more, just stop, just fall off the face of the earth. I feel like I have so many things to back me up. So like obviously like my family and friends are gonna be there for me. I've been really into I guess a big passion of mine is leadership. Like I mentioned, I'm minoring in it. So I feel
Oh,
like kind of just like having a foundation in that, like if something is going the wrong way, like how can I kind of like branch off
mhm.
using my leadership into like
Yeah.
let's create something different, create something even better than just like, oh, diving or whatever. Like, let's like move on from it. Like the past is a past type thing. And I feel like my family and friends are something that can keep me accountable in that. Like I said, I don't know, that's kind of a hard thing because it's like I'll just keep living life, doing school. I don't know.
Yeah.
if it were to, like, just seriously be done, I think obviously, like, having family and friends is, like, the main priority of just, like, kinda just, like, guiding me, pushing me a little bit, but
Mhm.
also, like I said, just, like, I'm definitely not I'm kinda going back and forth, but I'm definitely not ready to be done with diving, like, I love the adrenaline or whatever, but
Yeah.
when my time comes, I know that I'll be ready, and so that's been, like, my mindset the whole, I guess, like, my whole life is, like, when I'm done, like, mentally, I think, like, I'm prepared. So, like, just, like, moving on and just, like, school is the next thing on my mind, like, I can't wait to get my master's, like, that's just one next step into the real world, and since I yes, diving was fortunate to give me that opportunity because it led me here, to, like, one of the best sports management schools in, like, the country, and so I feel like just school, family, friends, and leading my having a passion in leadership is, like, my top 3 things that'll keep me going and keep me grounded and not let me remember about the past or be sad of, like, "Oh, diving's gone," but we have 2 more months.
I feel so much on that because I remember even in CCF, I was like, everybody was like, most of us were juniors and seniors,
Mhm.
and everyone was like not lost. Like some people were still lost, but most of the
Yeah.
people there were like sad, that their
Mhm.
sport is coming to an end. And I remember especially the first 2 days, I was like, why am I the only one ready for it to be done? Like, is there something like, do I have a toxic relationship with tennis or what is
No,
it?
yeah.
And then like it was actually crazy. Like I started asking myself questions because everybody was so
Mhm.
sad, and I'm like, it's not that I hate it, but like
Yeah.
it took so much out of, like, my life, like, it was a sacrifice, like, we like it or
Oh,
not,
yeah.
like, I'm coming to a point where, like, I gave tennis so much, and it gave me so much back too, like, as you said, you're from Texas playing in Tennessee, like, you have all these friends, like, I'm from a different continent, like, I went
Yeah.
all the way th like, like, it gave us all these opportunities, and I'm so grateful for it, but I'm also so ready for, like,
Mhm.
something next. Like, what's coming
Yeah.
next? Like, I'm not scared, like, to take that step.
Yeah.
And it's awesome to hear, like, you feel that too, and
Yeah.
how you feel like your family and friends are gonna keep pushing you and gonna
Mhm.
keep believing you. That makes a big, big difference, and I
Yeah.
always knew like you're big on family and friends, but like hearing you actually talk about that, like actually like, makes me realize it even more,
Mhm.
that's really awesome. But just
Can I say
talking
one more
also
thing?
about yeah, of course. Go
Okay,
ahead.
sorry. Going back to your point of, like, us kinda feeling the same way about, just, like, not letting go of our sport, but moving on. It's
Mhm.
not that, like, we're eager to, like, "I wanna be done with it," like, "I wanna," like, "I'm tired of it," and all this stuff. It's just like you said, like, we've given so much, but, like, in my, like, mindset, I think because of diving, like, I'm gonna have so much greater and better things in the future
Yeah.
because of the sport, and I can't wait to, like, see and experience those things, and, like, I have so many things waiting for me that I could try, the
Mhm.
opportunities that are out there, like, I'm eager to go try those because of me thanking the sport
Yes.
of diving and thanking, like, sport as a whole, you know? So, I think
Mhm.
just, like I think everyone should just kinda shift their mindset if they're about to be done with sport or if they're about to move on, retire, whatever you if they're even if you're injured or something, just, like, change the mentality of, like, you because of sport, like, it gave you so many opportunities that you have to take advantage of, that,
Yes.
like, instead of, like, being sad, like, be excited because of what sport gave you and, like, be excited for what's ahead type thing, so
Mhm.
I feel
I
like
agree
that's a
so much.
huge thing,
I
and
agree.
I feel like we kinda share on that
100%.
mindset.
Yes, I agree because as you explained it, like I do believe that like they're like elite athletes, let's say that like went through pressure and went through like,
Mhm.
having to take like responsibilities at a really young age, leading your
Exa
team or something like leading sack, like stuff like
Mhm.
that. Like I do believe that gets you ahead of a lot of other people, like you've been in those shoes that you have to like, one day in your job lead a team or lead a
Mhm.
business or have your own business, So I do believe we're kind of ahead if we actually change our perspective as you
Exactly.
talked about, But yeah, that's awesome. But going back to the point of family and friends, I want to know like, competing at a big school, doing
Mhm.
a really cool sport that everybody's like, wow, like I want to see that, I want to go and watch that. I want to know like and I from knowing you like as a friend, I think this question is a little bit personal, but I really want to know. If, of course, you don't mind sharing, we want to know a little bit about the pressure that people don't see, that people
Mhm.
don't hear about, that people cannot even notice that you're battling through when you're in
Yeah.
competition or tournaments.
Mhm.
If you can share a little bit about that.
Yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of 2 different types of pressure. So for me, there's pressure on the diving board physically, like, in my sport. So it's like, oh, like, I made NCAAs last year, like, I'm an All-American the year before that, like, I gotta, like, keep up that kind of, like, rhythm, like or, like, I can't look afraid on the tower, like, all this stuff, like, my dive has to be perfect. But I think just it goes back to, like, all the hard work I've given these last I can't even count on 10 fingers how many years I've been doing this. So just, like, count on looking back on all the hard work that I put in these past decade, over a decade into the sport and just like being no matter the result, like just being super grateful and thankful that I'm in this opportunity, that I'm doing what I love and at the school that I love and kind of just like letting it be how it is. Like you can't change the past. So like I make NCAAs, like awesome, but I'm not an All American at NCAAs. Like, hey, I made NCAAs, which is just 2% of the athletes that I'm competing with, you know? So it's just like taking one step back and
Yeah,
like realizing like what you've actually done instead of
yeah,
like having bricks on your shoulders because what you want the public eye to see or like what you want the public eye to like realize that you've done and stuff like that. So there's that kind of pressure on the diving board, and then there's the kind of pressure that is kind of outside the pool where it's like most people are like, I'm gonna get the best like this is probably not true, but what I feel is like I feel like people are gonna, like, expect me to leave the University of Tennessee and, like, have the perfect life, perfect job, all this stuff, but realistically, I'm still gonna be in school when everyone else is probably gonna make money doing their jobs or whatever, like, I'm gonna be behind and all this stuff, but, again, like, I think everyone has their right path and stuff, so I think for me and, like, researching, for me to get ahead in the future, I'm gonna need a master's in my program because it's so competitive, because the sports world is so small and everyone knows everyone. I think I'm gonna need my master's in the long run, it's gonna help me. So, not wasting, but using 2 more years of my life to get my master's, I
yeah,
don't think like, 2 years is nothing compared to how many years I'm gonna be probably working in the future. So that'll probably be beneficial. So there's that pressure of like, is the society kind of thing like pressure, like that's not even probably realistic. It's just me putting in my own head type stuff. And then also like, because I've even had people come up to me saying like, you're gonna get the first job available because you're the president of SAC or you've been to the NCAA headquarters, you've been on the SEC SAC committee. And I'm just like, I'm like rolling it back. I'm like,
yeah,
I still have to one finish college, my undergrad degree. I was like, I'm not even yes, I'm looking for a job always, like
yeah.
researching, networking, all that stuff, but, like, all this stuff that I'm doing now is going to help me in the future, but, like, I need to take one step at a time type
Mhm.
thing. Like I said, like, I could go out of college of my undergrad and look for a job immediately, but like I said, like, I think for me personally and for my where I am, where I want to be in my life in the
Yeah,
future, like, the master's is gonna be the right route for me. So, yeah, there's kinda 2 types of pressure, I feel like, but,
yeah.
um
No, that's awesome. And I remember we learned a lot about, staying in your path, if you
Mhm,
stay in your path, that's you're not gonna be late. Nobody's like, it's
mm,
all about your own path. I think like
mhm,
a lot of us sadly like we kind of forget that, each person has their story, each person has
mhm,
his own goals. Even if we're the same major, even if we want to have the same job one day, like it doesn't
mhm,
mean that we have the same goals still in the values in life, so it's awesome that you realize like, okay, well, this is what I feel like I want right now, and this is what I feel like I need, and I'm just gonna do it, and
yeah,
and that's actually awesome to hear because it's not easy to come to that realization, but
mhm,
yeah, but talking also about like the pressure that you talked a little bit about, like, as you said, like I don't even know if it's realistic, maybe it's just in my head. So I want
Mhm.
to know, how do you actually like deal with it? Because I have that problem personally. Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times I do believe pressure is a privilege. Whenever I'm like stressed, or I'm like, am I
Mhm.
gonna be good enough? Like everybody's relying on me. Everybody believes in me back home. Like I gotta be perfect, you know?
Yeah.
But then I'm like I personally help myself with telling myself, okay, if I have this pressure, it means I'm good and deserve to be
Mhm.
here. But also, who's putting that pressure? You know, I'm like putting it
No,
on
yeah.
myself because, you know, I've never had people come up to me and be like, "Well, you have to win this match. Well, you have to get a 4.0, you know? So like,
Mhm.
I want to know, how is it for you and how do you actually deal with it?
No, yeah, I think a little pressure is good actually, like you said, like, if you have pressure on yourself, I think that means that you've done something good or, like, you're achieving great things, and so I think a little pressure is good always. It's just, putting applied pressure onto yourself on top of that pressure is where it kinda gets a little too much to juggle. I think for me, like you said, one, staying on my path and then staying consistent in, like, everything I'm doing and also sticking to my process is something that kind of, um probably doesn't make the pressure go away, but it gets you distracted and puts, like, your blinders up
Yeah,
to, like, kind of, like, put the pressure away. I think, one, sticking to my process is a huge thing. That's probably the one thing I would say, like, is probably most important to me to kinda distract not just the pressure, but everything. But, like, for diving, like, I need to peak in March,
yeah,
basically. I can't
okay,
peak in November, 'cause, like, that's not the important part of the season.
yeah,
So, as much as I wanna do, like, my best dives against, like, these teams in November, December, even January, like, I need to, like, remember I don't wanna beat these teams in preseason. I wanna
yeah,
beat them when it matters at NCAA
mm-hmm,
championships, at SEC championships, and conference championships. So I was like, sticking to my process is a huge thing because sometimes, like, when a team does beat us in November, we're, like, down on ourselves, but then I'm like, "Wait
mm-hmm,
a second." We're like, they're doing their best diving in November, and I
yeah,
was like, "We're not even close to our best diving." So, like, did like, from erase that from your mind, from the vision board, whatever. Like, just you're 'cause we're gonna beat them when it matters. And
mm-hmm,
so, like, sticking to your process is a huge thing since the just, like, staying consistent in everything I do, whether that's school, diving, my home life, just, like, doing my laundry, throwing away the trash, I don't eating dinner at a good time, doing homework and all this stuff. Just being consistent helps me kinda just stay on track throughout these just months of the season because it's a long season. But I feel like putting those 2 things together just, like, helps me so much just, like, stay focused and stay on track, stay on my path,
yeah,
just of, like, everything that I need to focus on and that I want to focus on.
mm-hmm,
Because once I forget about, like, consistency and one wall is down, like, that's when the pressure, anxiety, like, scaredness, and all these, like, other emotions or things come in that don't need to be there at all.
yeah,
And I feel like I've luckily, like, almost I don't wanna say mastered because I feel like no one can master something, but
mm-hmm,
I've, like, done a really good job, like, my senior year on doing, like, that because I've had 3 seasons under my belt, and I've kind of tested the waters on each one, so now I know I'm, like, for sure, like, stuck to my process, and, like, I know my process. I know what time I'm gonna eat dinner, what time I get home from practice, what
mm-hmm.
time all this stuff, so just, like, staying consistent and everything, and I feel like it's just, like, comes with practice to kinda, like, not let the pressure get to you. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. The routine does matter, but I like
Mhm.
so much your perspective, especially on talking about, you know, you're gonna lose, you like it or not. It can be
Yeah.
beginning of the season, it can be in the end, it can be in the middle. It's gonna come because there's a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of us student athletes, like it's hard it's hard for us to accept it sometimes, to be like,
Mm,
well, I worked this much, like I should not be losing, you know, but to come to that realization again, like, you know, as you said, it comes with a lot of experience. It comes with a lot of losses, and it also comes with a lot of wins, you know, to
mhm,
actually learn that and just keep your head up. But yeah, that's actually awesome. But I also want to talk a little bit about, as you mentioned a little bit earlier, you know, there's a lot of people that might see you be like, okay, you play at this amazing school, you go to this amazing school, like you're tilling, you know, let's say in life, you know. But I think a lot of people, especially from the outside, it can actually be also like closer people to us that be like, well, you're good. Like I see your stories, you're having fun, you're enjoying your life. Like,
mhm,
but I think a lot of people forget that, especially us student athletes, like we try to hide a lot of things because, as you
Mhm,
said, like routine matters. Like if I'm down and if I'm gonna, I don't know, not throw my trash or not cook myself dinner for 2 days, like it's gonna affect me in practice, it's gonna affect my
mhm,
matches. Like you gotta sometimes, unfortunately, kind of like ignore those feelings, let's say. Like, I don't know what's
mhm.
the right word to use here, and just like actually focus on the goal, especially when you're in season because of
Yeah,
like that responsibility and discipline you have and you want to be consistent in your sport. So I want to
mhm,
hear a little bit about what's like the hardest battle you've had and nobody even noticed or uh,
mhm.
like, applauded for you or anything like that.
Yeah, I feel like this year specifically, there hasn't been like one huge battle, but I feel like there's been just a lot of like little things that have like kind of distracted me or like put me
Mhm,
on a different like path now. Like I was going here, but now I have to take a slightly right turn because my path kind of just like because something happened. Like for instance, like this year at the beginning of the season when we're starting to, so we have different phases of the season. At the very beginning, we focus on like drills, technique, our posture in the air. So
yeah.
diving is very technique wise, like pointed toes, like you have to squeeze your abs, put your ribs in, squeeze your hips. It's like a lot of little things need to move to make the dive work, I guess. And then, so the first couple of months is like drills and lineups and posture. The next one is what we call lead ups. So it's like things on the lower boards to help us prepare for the higher boards. So I'll
Mhm,
be like on 1 meter doing a front 2.5 pike. So on 3 meter, I can do a front 3.5 pike in the long run. And
mhm,
so then obviously after that phase, it's just like optional training, which is our harder dives and just like trying to perfect those. But in the towards like the basics and like lineup posture training, I had a death in the family. My great grandmother passed away, and that just
sorry for your
kind of
loss.
no, thank you. That just kind of put my path in a total different direction, and it was, like, someone who was, like, my biggest cheerleader kind of
Mhm.
just, like, is not there anymore, so we actually had our first meet in Texas and against UT, and
Oh.
that was, like, the one that was gonna be her first time seeing me in college diving. It was gonna be, like, the one meet she was so excited for, and that was actually, like, the worst mentally meet that I didn't wanna compete at that meet. I didn't wanna, like, train for that meet, like, I was just so kind of, like, cut out and, like, distracted mentally that I didn't even, like, wanna dive practice any time around that area because I knew that she wasn't gonna be in the stands cheering for me.
Mhm.
So, kinda just, like, that kind of for, I would say, close to, like, a month, like, that kind of just mentally, it was just, like, pounding on me until
Mhm.
so honestly, like, right before around Thanksgiving, Christmas time when I went home, when because I obviously flew home for the funeral and stuff, and
Mhm.
that was not a cool reason to be home. Like, yes, I'm
Yeah.
back home seeing my family or stuff, but, like, I would have rather much been in Knoxville than being in home for that reason. So, it honestly didn't take it was honestly until I went back home for, like, a holiday and stuff like that to kinda just, like, relax and kind of, like, realize that, like, not to she wouldn't want me to be sad, she would want me to keep going and
Mm.
pushing and be happy because that's exactly how she was. And so, that kind of put a little turn in my path, like, mentally, because again, like, for the one of the most important parts of the season, like, I didn't wanna dive, which when it's an important step for your process, like,
Mhm.
it kind of puts a ding into, um, your process. That and then also, like, haven't last year, I was battling with the upper neck, upper traps, shoulder, injury. I was obviously had to take a after I was pushing through, it started in December of last year, so over a year ago, and but after December, things go like, it's so fast paced in our season because it's like, we have 2 weeks, we have an invite, then we have meet, 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 it's just, like, so
Yeah.
fast,
Yeah.
and before you know it, it's like the NCAA championships are here, and it's, like, end of March, and you're like, "Holy crap." So they're like our doctors are just like, "Push through, like, if you
Mm.
can. Like, obviously, if you can't, like, we're just gonna have to
Mhm.
pull you." And I'm like, "I am not, like, just gonna lose my season like that."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm not doing it." So, I obviously pushed through. By the end of it, like, all the muscles were just, like, broken down. They were so weak, everything was inflamed. So, I obviously just they're like, "You have to take a break now. Like, you can't do
Yeah.
anything upper body." And so, I had to take actually, like, close to a 2-month break of, like, no upper
Oh.
body, like, nothing. Like, not
Mhm.
even, like I couldn't even hold things more than, like, 15 pounds because it would just, like, strain. So they were like, "You can't do anything." like, I couldn't wear a backpack to class the rest of the year. I had to, like, use, like, a weird like, had to use something weird and or just, like, take out the take out, like, my books and stuff, just have my computer in there, like, I couldn't do anything over a certain amount of weight, so, obviously, not training in the summer much was a huge thing. I was, like, kind of, like, scared me or more mentally scared me than physically, because obviously I still worked out, I was in shape, but that kind of on top that was one thing, and then grandmother on the top of the thing. So the beginning of the season was a little hectic,
Yeah.
but those are probably the 2 main things that kind of put a I would say, like, a little turn in my path, but, luckily, it was at the beginning of the season and not super far into the season. Because now I feel like I've realized everything that has happened kind of, like, made me put my blinders on and, like,
Yeah.
realize, like, what I it was a good learning process, I'll say that, like,
Yeah.
not just for, like, the sport, but, like, for life, like, things
Mhm.
are gonna happen and
Mhm.
unexpected things are gonna happen,
Yeah.
and you kinda just gotta, like, as sad as it sounds, like, move on in a good way just because, like, for instance, like, my grandma would not want me to be depressed for months, like, that's not what
Mhm.
she wants. So, like, moving on and, like, kind of, like, leaving she left her legacy, and I'm gonna follow that legacy in her
Yeah.
path, and, like, that has helped me, like, kind of close the blinders back and not letting, like, oh, anxiety come in, oh, the pressure, oh, depression, oh, sadness. Like, it like, there's so many things that could have gone wrong, but, like, I know exactly, like, what she wanted, and, like, so just, like, closing
Yeah.
in and, again, one step at a time because that's just what needs to happen is you can't take life too fast,
Yeah.
take it slow, so, yeah, I feel like those are 2 things that kinda was all over the place, but those are 2 things that, um, kind of, like, made my path turn, but was a great learning experience for not just
Yeah.
now, but for the long run.
Mhm. That's awesome, Nick. Well, I'm happy
Yeah.
that, you're finding yourself and you're finding your path again. And
Yeah,
unfortunately, these things have to come with hard battles like this and hard
exactly.
challenges, but it's I'm happy also to hear that you kind of took your time for yourself and just, like
Mhm.
moments like these, you just gotta accept it, like it's so
Exactly.
hard. Like I even sometimes personally find myself like just from a burnout, like I cannot perform, I cannot practice, like I cannot be myself, like on or off the court, and not even go into like some harder challenges in life, injuries
No,
or
yeah,
losing someone. Like just a burnout kills you, but you have to
yeah.
keep that routine, especially like I think being in a team in college, like, if there's other six or seven or whatever. Oh my God, I hit the
Mhm.
6-7.
Oh god.
Didn't think about it, but then I heard it. But whatever, you have your teammates around you and you kind of even put that pressure on yourself. You'd be like, well, I gotta move on somehow, but you also like
Yeah.
gotta be vulnerable, let's say, with yourself and like actually give
Mhm.
yourself time to heal and like come back. But it's great because then the comeback is always better. You're fresh, you're ready to go, you learn something. So it's actually awesome to hear that. Just to ask a little bit about, as you talked a lot about your path, and your
Mhm.
routine, your whatever you believe in, whatever keeps you going on. We want to know a little bit about how has like faith changed your
Mhm.
perspective or the way you prepare your routines, the way you prepare before tournament practice, even just daily things.
Yeah, yeah. So, I am Catholic, and my basically all my family has grown up in, like, the Catholic church. I
Yeah.
remember going to, when I was really, really young, going to church with, like, my grandma and stuff like that. She's always taught me just, like, kind of living through her faith because her faith is so strong, and it kinda just, like, reflects onto anyone she's around. So, like, if I like, I don't even know how to explain it, but, like, if are somewhere and, like, she, like, passes by a church or something, like, I just, like, feel radiance, like, just, like, coming off of her, like, onto me, and I feel, like, protected and safe and grounded. Another huge thing is, like, just staying grounded and, I feel like anything in my mind, everything happens for a reason,
Yeah.
and, just, like, not forgetting that type thing is,
Mhm.
like, huge. For instance, like, my grandmother, like, passing away, like, I feel like that as much as it sucked for our family, like, it happened for a reason because like, it brought the whole family, like, so close and, like, we're continued to be close, and, obviously, like, she was loved her faith and had, like,
Mhm.
had so much passion for, everything she did in the church. When she passed, like, we had her, like, a celebration of life at her church, and basically, like, hearing all the stories and, like, just, like, seeing everyone come together because she was so, like, loved is, like, huge, and, like, everyone has, like, stayed in contact. Not that we didn't wanna stay in contact, but, like, we've always ever since then, like, we make sure, like, we gotta, like, keep up with each other. Like, our family group chat, and I don't mean, like, just, like, my dad, grandma, and, like, my stepmom and stuff. I mean, like, the family, like, there's, like, 40 people in that group chat. It's, like,
Wow.
constantly, like, blowing up, and
Yeah.
but before, like, we would never text in that group chat, so it's nice that, like, because unfortunately, like, my great-grandma did pass, she was able to bring, like, the whole family together and, like, stay together, which I loved so much and I still love. And then going back to, like, I feel like sticking to the process is another, like, huge things because like I said, everything happens for a reason. Like, if you stick to your process and stay consistent in, like, everything you do, like, everything truly will happen for a reason. Like, it's just crazy to me, like, I didn't a month ago, 2 months ago, I didn't know what I was gonna do, like, for next year, and, like but I just, like, trusted and, like, stayed what's the word? Kind of just, like, stayed
Grounded.
relaxed and
Okay.
stayed
Yeah.
relaxed and grounded and just, like, whatever comes is gonna come, and, like, I'm gonna be looking forward to it, excited for it, and then I got into, like, my master's program, and then I'm like, "Okay, like, I'm not gonna be an athlete anymore, so, like, how am I
Mhm.
gonna pay for like, school or whatever?" Then, like, teaching assistant position, like, came available, so obviously I applied for that, and, like, just, like, once you, like, be prepared for once you're prepared for the unknown future, I feel
Yeah.
like help so much. Like, I feel like if I was eager and, like, scared and always, like,
Mhm.
just, like, constantly shaking, it would have been like, none of these things would have, like, fallen into place.
Yeah.
But because of, like, just, like, believing that everything is gonna happen for a reason,
Yeah.
like, staying calm and, just, like, staying true to, like, what I believe in
Mhm.
is just, like, everything, like, it'll be fine.
Mhm.
But, yeah, I feel like just those things are the things that keep me grounded and believing in my faith and
Yeah.
strong in my faith, and but, yeah, I would say just everything happening for a reason, especially, like, in my time, like, the past 4 years in my time of
Yeah.
life, like, I feel like that has just been constantly, like, in the back of my head, and it's because of my faith and because
Mhm.
of, like, everything that my family has instilled to me, the church has instilled to me.
Mhm. Yeah. That's awesome. Your faith is definitely bringing you a lot of peace, especially
Oh,
as
yeah.
you talked about like believing that everything happens for a reason. Like I personally believe that, and I do believe in it so much that it helps me take some pressure out of myself because
Exactly.
let's say like you going in with that masters, being like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I want to do masters, but how am I going to do it? But then you go on and like do everything that you can do,
Mhm.
as a human being like, well, I got to look for a job, but I also got to look for what masters I want to do. I got to do this, like
Yeah.
doing that applications, putting that work in, even in sports. Like I do
Mhm.
believe if I go in, put everything that I can give to the sport mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever the outcome is, it will still be good in the end, like it will still be good because if you give it everything you have, like, God knows, probably in the first few weeks or months, you're going to be like,
Yeah.
oh, why did this actually happen? But then you're going to be like, oh my God, like, I'm so happy that whatever I wanted, I didn't get. And it ends up
Mhm.
being this. Like, it's actually awesome to have that mentality. And it personally helps me a lot with, pressure. But also talking a little bit about, how you felt God and your faith, helping you in these past 4 years. When did you feel like most God's work within you? Like more in your losses, hard times, or more in victories and, wins, achieving whatever you wanted?
Yeah, I would definitely say probably in losses and injuries and stuff because I know the wins come from those losses and injuries and kind of like a bounce back or, I see it as, like, when I do win and stuff, like, it's just he's paying it forward for something that I did in the past, a good
Yeah.
deed or something that I've done to help the community or help someone else. Like it's just like he's showing that he's repaying me in those
Mhm.
victories or in anything in life, like getting in my master's, like maybe it's because I helped a friend out, like because her tire was flat or something. Like he's repaying me by he wanted to like
Mhm.
do upper education, so like I'm repaying you for by allowing you to get into your master's program, you know? So just like stuff like that. So I feel like it's easier to see okay, it's kinda hard because it's easier to see him, in, like, the victories, but I feel like it's easier to know him through the losses and stuff.
Yeah. To
Because
feel to
he it's like yeah, it's like he's kind of it's like a learning lesson, so he's like, it's not gonna be good now, but, like, I promise you,
Mhm.
like, in the future, like, you're gonna not just get what you want, but, like, get
Yeah.
what you need type stuff, and, so I would say, like, the losses are probably, like, more of a yeah, I would say that the losses are more just
Okay.
kind of lets me see him and feel God.
Yeah. No, but that's awesome actually. Your perspective on how when you said when you actually achieve something, you do also feel God, helping you
Mhm,
through it. But your perspective on being like, it's kind of you feel like it's also kind of a reward. Like,
mhm,
it's like a kind of a good deed. So I really like
mhm,
that mindset. It's actually a good perspective to look at it. But talking a little bit about, those hard days, the days you feel unmotivated, you don't want to go to practice, you don't want to get out of your bed because we all have
mm
those days, right?
Oh, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about how does your mental discipline look like on those days when you don't feel motivated? How do you deal with it?
No, so I actually it's weird because when I was younger, I was big morning person. I loved like, I could
Mm.
get up at any time and
Yeah.
just, like, get my day going, hop in the shower, get in the car, go wherever. But now as, like, I'm getting older, like,
I'm
just,
too old.
waking up at 7 a.m. is hard sometimes, and I'm just like, "God." So, like, I've kind of come to a realization that that's
Mhm.
happening, so I'm like, we wake up so if I have to be out of the house at 7, I wake up at 6, and
Mhm.
I'll just be in my bed for 20 minutes, just sit
Yeah.
there, just, like, get on my phone if I have to, because I know that I can't just hop out of bed immediately anymore. So, like, I'll give myself 20 minutes to just sit there, like, you're still in bed, but, like, slowly wake up. Um, and then by that 20 minutes, normally I'm awake and ready to hop out of bed, get in the
Yeah.
shower if I need to, all this stuff. So just like from my freshman year to my senior year, again, it just goes back to like tweaking with your process. Like it's a
Yeah.
learning experience and like being adaptable is a huge thing because lately, like I haven't been wanting to get out of bed, especially since Chris coming back from home.
Yeah.
So like it's just like do what you need to like for you
Yeah.
at this point of your life, you know, type thing, and, like,
Yeah.
your process, like, I have to tweak it a little bit, like, I have to like, for me right now, I need to stay in bed for a little longer, not really to sleep, but to just, like,
Mhm.
get awake, to have the energy to, like, get
Yeah.
out of bed and go do this stuff, so I would say just, again, like, adapting, being adaptable to, like, who you are, like, where
Mhm.
you are in your life and, like, what you feel, and always another thing is always, like, reading yourself, like, luckily, like, I, like, can read myself really well, so, like, during diving, like, when my mindset starts to slowly switch to negativity, I'll, like, hurry up and go to my coach and be like, "Hey, like, I'm starting to, like, get negative on myself, like, what do I need to do to reel myself back in so I can focus on the rest of practice?"
Yeah.
Same thing, like, I can't just hop out of bed anymore, so, like, reading myself and noticing that, okay, like, I need more time in bed just to chill
Yes. Uh-huh.
and be awake to start waking up. So just like really knowing who you are and like reading yourself and like is a huge thing. Like just like it goes back to like leadership too. I'm going back in time a little bit, but just like I need to learn how to lead myself before I can lead
Mhm.
anyone on my team, anyone in my community, anyone at the school. So yeah, just like really understanding who you are and what you need at that current time is a huge thing that kind of helps me um for this case, get out of bed in the morning or
Yeah.
kind of like gets me motivated to like get on with my day.
I agree. 100%. Really learning, as you said, who you actually are and like, sometimes accepting who you actually are,
Mhm.
but like also sometimes learning how to work to improve some things or change some
Yeah.
things can make a huge impact in our lives. Like, I do believe like when you go to a new environment, new school, a new team, like as you have to learn to adapt with each person from the coach to your teammates to the environment of the school, like you actually also have to that way, like the same way you actually have to learn how to live with yourself. Like, if I do believe since I started like actually hearing myself and like listening to my body, like actually giving
Mhm.
myself a chance to rest or work or whatever like I needed to do, like I do feel a difference in my life, just learning who I actually am. And like then you
Yeah.
feel like even when you present yourself to people and you get to meet people, like I actually know who I am. I'm
Mhm.
not just Nour. Like I know what I like, I know what I don't like, I know what I need to work on, and I know what's my strength, and my
Yeah.
weaknesses. So that's actually a really good point you brought up, because I think like people, need to realize that
Mhm.
more. But talking about again, just a little bit more about, those hard times, those hard days, learning about who you actually are, how you need to, move on with things. I want to know like what's one lesson that or multiple probably was something that like suffering and hard times and hard battles and those challenges actually taught you that wins and victories could never you know
Mhm.
you can never learn from.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple things. One, I feel like take it slow.
Hmm.
I'm not eager to do anything in my life right now, obviously. Yeah, I'm eager to graduate maybe, but like that I why should I be eager to graduate when I could still be in college and have fun and be not be in the real world, you could say, you know? So,
Yeah.
like, just, like, taking it so, like, life moves so fast already that just taking it step by step
Hmm.
can help you navigate so much better, and, like, when life moves slower, I feel like it's so much calmer and easier to
Yeah.
think, so much relaxing to gives you time to just, like, reflect on everything that's already happened, you know? And so that's one thing, is just, like, take everything slow, like, not everything
Hmm.
needs to be fast unless, like, you're running a race or something, you know? Like, just, like, chill for a little bit and, like, just calm down. Then another thing is I think it just goes back to, like, what I already said once, but, like, being consistent. Yeah, I need to be consistent in diving to be a high
Hmm.
score, but I remember learning about consistency when I was before diving. Like, that is one of, like I feel like which is such a weird thing to say, but I feel like that's one of the first words I remember learning was consistent.
Hmm.
And but just staying consistent and being on top of everything that you do in life, like, it'll help you go so far. I didn't I learned to be consistent in diving from learning how to be consistent in my in life before from life before diving. So, like, actually, like, I remember the life before I had in diving helped me for the future me because
Hmm.
of me learning what consistency was and, like, how it could help just, like, your life and, like, your process in general. Just, like, being consistent in everything you do, like we talked about earlier, is something huge that I don't even remember how I was taught it, who I was taught by, but it's always just been something, like, on my mind is if you're consistent, like, things are gonna, like, work in your favor, like, things you can do anything you put your mind to, like, if you're just consistent and just, like, stick to your process, so, yeah.
That's awesome. And I hope to all the younger athletes that will hear this, like,
Mhm.
I remember when I was younger, still even now, like I hate losing more than I love winning.
Oh, yeah.
Like I hate losing so much. Like I'm such a bad loser. Like even when
Mhm.
if we play cards or Uno, like I'll be mad if I lose. Like I will not talk to you the rest of the night,
Oh, yeah.
like actually accepting at some time, through your career that, if you just change your perspective on those days when you lose, like it will
Mhm.
actually make the biggest difference. Because,
Oh, yeah.
most of us now, when you win, you just like, kind of feel like, well, I had to win. It's not like,
Mhm.
when, of course, when you do big achievements, like, that's awesome, that's amazing. But most of our like days, let's say like, daily competitions and stuff, you're like, well, I was supposed to win. Like it's not even a question of
Yeah.
like winning or losing at that point. But then when you lose, you're like, kind of like killing yourself and you're like, well, I should
Yeah.
have no, 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 no. But if you just change your perspective on, well, this went wrong, this went wrong. Okay, well, how can I improve this, And just,
Mhm.
I do believe it's a lot about perspective in these things. So I hope to all the younger athletes hearing us today, like just accept those losses, and learn
Yeah.
from them, and that's how you actually grow. But just talking a little bit about greatness and how we develop everything. I want to know, because playing now D1 college, all eyes on you all the time. Everybody want to watch, even if they're not there through social media. They can, zoom in, watch you
Yeah.
play, always follow you. So I want to know like what drives you in the days when, your motivation is low or, when your
Mhm.
season is done. You played NCAA, you're all American, when all of that is done, what like actually still drives you to keep working hard, to keep pushing, when the lights are off and nobody's watching.
I think one for sure thing is my family, friends, and support system, like, they've, like, pushed me this far, like, they're definitely gonna keep pushing me and, like, be proud of me for the achievements that I do outside of diving, and I feel like as much as I haven't made that full transition into, like, being done with diving, I've noticed that I'm slowly starting to kind of transition just because of the things I'm doing outside of the pool, and it goes back to, like, the things I'm doing outside of the pool is because of diving and because of
Yeah.
sport. So, like, I was I'm on the SAC for my
Mhm.
school, SAC president. That's one huge thing that I probably wouldn't have even thought of my freshman, sophomore, or maybe even junior year. I was named an alternate to the NCAA
Mhm.
oversight committee, which is basically the first time they're ever doing it, but it's basically to vote on legislative and change in your sport, but you get to like sit at the table and kind of like get a say into like what goes on in
Oof.
the NCAA, like,
Cool.
for your sport.
Yeah.
So, like, I was appointed to that position and, uh, just so many things, like, outside of the pool that, like, I'm, like, slowly starting to become, like, a professional, and I know, like, especially in sport, like, you learn from day one that, like, you gotta learn how to be professional
Mhm.
and put your, like everything you do is, like, shows your professionalism, like, your social
Mhm.
media, everything, and so I just slowly seen, like, me grow as a professional and as a leader, but it goes back to, like, the foundation in diving,
Yeah.
foundation before diving, and it's just everything leads up and is like a step path to, like, where I want to be type thing, but, yeah, I would say just, like just having my passions and, like, really, like yes, my passion is diving, but, like, outside of diving, what are your other passions? I wanna be a leader. I wanna be a professional. I wanna be a sports event management, like, all
Mhm.
these other things that yes, one of my passions is gone now, like, I have 3 others that I'm so excited to, like, look forward to, so excited to, like, explore and all this stuff, so, like, yes, one of my biggest passions is gone, but, like, again, like we mentioned earlier, because of diving, I have 3 other opportunities that are waiting for me, like, why not, like, go try them out? And I know I mentioned earlier, like, don't try to rush things, but, like, be eager for the future, if that makes sense. So don't
Yeah.
be eager to, like, move on for the future now,
Yeah.
but be eager to look forward to, like, what's in the future
Mhm.
type thing.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, I feel like those my passions, my friends, family, and just, like, realizing what diving has given me is kind of things that will keep me motivated,
Yeah.
to move on because I wouldn't want my sadness to be I wouldn't want me to be sad because I'm moving on from diving
Mhm.
when I feel like if I just, again, switch my perspective, if diving was a person, diving wouldn't want me to be sad because I'm leaving them. He would want
Yeah.
me to go keep moving forward
Yeah.
because of what he's given me already,
Yes.
you know? So, like, just, like, things like that are just I feel like things that would keep me pushing and motivated for life after diving.
Exactly. Again, it's all about the perspective, as you
Exactly, yeah.
talked about, like the privileges we get from our sports, we like it or not, it's amazing. And
Yeah,
and at some point of your career, you're gonna look at those privileges and be like, why is everybody expecting me to be so happy of them? Why is everybody, expecting me to be so excited,
yeah,
And if you just change your perspective as you talked about, like, just realizing like, okay, I played these 4 years. I've had so much fun. I've went to a really good school. I have a degree, but still just being like, having that, 4-year career or your, even
yeah,
junior career, like it's still gonna help you and open more doors
mhm,
for you. You just gotta, change your perspective from I don't want that to be my identity anymore. I don't want to, be
yeah,
connect to that sport anymore. I just want to grow and, do my own thing,
mhm,
but still like let me still like take advantage of what it still can give you,
yeah,
It doesn't have to be your identity or anything, but you just gotta use it to your benefits as much as you can.
yeah.
And again, it's awesome your perspective, and it just explains, who you are and what you actually do, and But yeah, just we're gonna start to wrap up, Nick. Just
Okay.
few more questions. What would you say, talking about like going back a little bit, about the struggles, what you've been through, how you overcome it. What would you say like to a younger athlete or just, a college athlete or anything?
Mhm,
That is silently, suffering and is not
mhm.
having someone to talk to or, cannot even express because most of athletes, we don't speak about it. So what
Yeah.
would you say to those, younger athletes?
I think just like again, just like everything happens for a reason. Like your
Mhm.
struggles now is only gonna like you're only struggling now because what's waiting for you in the future is so much like better than what you could ever imagine. Um, I feel like that's just one huge thing is like just because you're struggling now doesn't mean you're gonna be struggling forever.
Mhm.
And because like what's waiting for you is just so much like it's like rainbow when you're driving to the rainbow, like, you're almost
Yes.
there, just, like, keep pushing. That's another thing is just, like, keep pushing, like, no matter what, like, your struggles, like, you don't wanna wake up at practice, you don't wanna wake up for practice, you don't wanna go to practice, you don't wanna do anything. Just, like,
Mhm.
keep pushing because, like, your break is gonna like, you'll get a break one day or another, like, you're
Mhm.
gonna get there, but also, like, beyond that, like, all the hard work you're putting in now is just gonna lead you to, like, so much success, and, I think just, like I know it's hard to feel that way, but, like, even from an outside perspective, like, whoever's watching you, like, push hard and, like, do all these hard things,
Yeah.
um, it just shows that, like, you're just gonna be, like, such a strong human being in the future, and you have so much success waiting for you because like, you don't give up, and you won't stop quitting until you have what you want, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's one thing, most athletes are either good at or really
Mhm.
bad at, is they don't
Yeah.
know whether,
To stop or keep
y
going.
yeah, and exactly. I feel like if you do I mean, again, it's just like reading yourself. Like for me, I knew in the hard scenarios that like I had to keep pushing because that's like that's the only thing that'll keep me going in the long run is if like I look back and like, oh, like I was struggling and now look at me like I feel like so good for myself and happy for myself. But like again, like if you don't want to move on, like if you want to move on from your sport or like you're truly are burnt out and you're tired of it and you
Mhm.
think like being done with something is beneficial for you, like then like take that chance because who knows, like maybe you not pursuing something is actually better in the long run. So like yes, would always say like keep pushing, keep working hard. And I'm not trying to say like quit your sport because like there's stuff waiting for you better. But like again, like you have to truly read yourself and believe in what you feel,
Mhm.
believe in what you know is one huge thing, and just, like, knowing who you are, because
Mhm.
once you do that, then you can make those choices like, "Okay, I'm gonna keep moving on," or, "Okay, like, it's my time to hang up my suit or hang up my
Yeah.
swim cap," and all this stuff, you know? So, just, like, 1, start from the beginning, kinda forgot what I was saying, but 1,
Be who you know who you are.
yes, know who you are. 2, don't give up, just keep pushing,
Yeah.
and then 3, what did I say at the beginning? I don't even remember.
You said consistency, knowing who you are, and actually listening and working with your like,
Yes, that.
learning through the process,
Yes, yeah,
But yeah, that's again, it's all about the perspective as you've been sharing,
yeah,
and I hope like, the people that are listening to us are actually gonna, take these lessons because it actually makes a difference. It's not gonna be
mhm,
a big difference. You're gonna be waking up one day and you're just gonna start winning everything, but it's actually
yeah,
one step at a time, as you
mhm.
shared. Just one more thing. Nick, like I personally known you as a friend, but I also know you as the athlete. But beyond all of this, as your senior year, you're about to end your season soon. How do you want people to remember Nick? What legacy you want to leave? If it's with your sport, if it's beyond the sport, if it's, beyond the degrees, like just how do you want Nick to be remembered?
I've actually thought about that a lot lately as in my at the University of Tennessee, a student athlete at the University of Tennessee, been
Mhm.
thinking of that a lot, and, for I kinda have 2 legacies. So one is for here at the university, and I just want people to see that, like, how hard work kind of, like, can get you way beyond your sport. So, like, I started my sophomore year, I was really into leadership and, like, discovering who I was as a leader, and from that, I just, like, a stepping stone into, like, who I truly want to become and who I truly am going to become, hopefully, and, like, I've had student athletes come up to me and, like, I wanna be like you, like, this president of SAC one day because, like, you've inspired me to, like, start, like, community service and all this stuff, and, like, that's something that I want, not even specifically with athletics, but, like, I want them to see that, like, there's so much life outside of diving and that, like, I'm that they see how thankful I am for diving,
Yeah.
so they can be thankful for their sport as well, but, it's already given me so much, like I mentioned, like, using that as a momentum booster to, like,
Mhm.
lift me up as a professional is one thing. So that's one major thing is that there's life outside of diving even when you are in your season or when you are in your sport. Another legacy I feel like is to basically outside just like anyone and everyone that I want to leave on this earth is just how passionful I am and passionate. I'm sorry. How passionate I am and what how passionate I am in my passions. So like
Mhm.
I have a passion for diving currently. In 3 months time I had a passion for diving
Mhm.
and just showing like how much I put into it and how much I really worked at it and how much it paid off in the long run. I want people to, like, see that. I want people to see, like, how passionate I am in my leadership
Mhm.
um, and how much it has, like, made me grow as a professional. So just seeing all my, passions kinda, like, I want them to see that and know that if they have a passion for something and they, like, keep trying and keep going at it, keep working at it, that they can make that passion into, like, a dream or make it into something so much bigger and flourish into something so much bigger. So, yeah, those are my 2 passions. I feel like that there's one here at the University of Tennessee as an athlete, like, that there is life after sport
Mhm.
and that there's something to look forward to after sport because of sport. So that's one thing here, and then the other thing is that just always being passionate about, like, anything you want
Yeah.
to achieve type thing, because I feel like everything that I've had a passion for thus far in my life, like, I've something great has come out of it. If not something great has come out of it, it's been a learning experience, which has
Yeah.
been just as helpful and just as beneficial as succeeding in something, you know? So those are
That's
my 2.
amazing, Nick. But just let me tell you, just knowing you for the past few months, like I already see that in you. Like you're already leaving that legacy. You don't have to even worry about it. Like, just seeing you all the time, sharing your achievements, as you talked about SAC, if it's in swimming, I see it all. And it's actually so cool, to like, have you as a friend and be like, oh my God, like my friend is actually doing amazing things. I gotta keep up. But as you also talked about your other legacy that you want to leave, like your passion, your perspective, your positive energy. And trust me,
Mhm.
like I can confirm this because I actually met you in real life and we can feel that in you from the first time, like, someone meets you, because, it's like you have like a little positive light, around you and whoever you come around and talk to, like you give them that light. It's actually
Thank
awesome.
you,
Like,
Nour.
no, but seriously, like, so you're ready leaving that legacy. You're ready. I know you're gonna keep working hard, keep growing, keep pushing. So I'm actually really excited to see what's coming next. And I hope all the people listening to us today also, can follow up with you and like actually
Yeah.
see you in the next few years where you're gonna be.
Yeah.
So just if you want to tell where the people can find you, Nick, on social media, if it's Instagram, if whatever you want to share with them.
Yeah, so on Instagram, my Instagram handle is just instone9, instone19. Basically, that's one thing I mainly keep up with on is just
Yeah.
Instagram, really.
Yeah.
Share a little bit of like my personal life, but also like diving life,
Yeah.
leadership life. So just a little bit of everything on there. Obviously, my LinkedIn too is just Nicholas Stone. That is obviously specifically leadership, business, sports, event management, life, school life, professional life. So yeah, super excited
Yep.
for the
Well,
future.
so yeah, everybody listening to us, go follow Nick, go follow up with him, what he's gonna be doing in the next few months. Probably winning NCAA championship. Let's hope for that. Let's hope for big goals, Nick.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you everybody for listening to us today. Thank you, Nick, so much for sharing all your all your secrets, all your advice, perspective, everything we want to learn. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and thank you so much, Nick, for being with us today.
Thanks. Thank you, Nour.